Making a return video after I haven't showered all day and I got thrown off my last job. What's up? It's true. All those things are true. I'm true. You're true. We're true. The dogs are true. Most of all, I'm true. And I burped. And let's continue. I'm holding up the phone with a cup. So, I've taken about 8 days off. Feels like shit, but I'm back in the game. Part of the reason for it was my old phone was acting up. You can see I dropped it a couple months ago and got this lovely little bar that is there all the time. Actually, it does something interesting because it helps light someone's face when you're recording with it. You know, this bar is always there no matter what. See here, let me see if I can turn the brightness down. And so what that does is it's low, but it's still freaking there. What that does is it makes it very difficult to look at articles. It would still work, you just couldn't see what you were touching. So, title of your sex tape. Sorry, I'm watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've done very little today, except I ate a gigantic burger, maybe one of the top 10 I've ever eaten in my entire life, with a giant chocolate milkshake and a Coke, and I gave some fries to the dogs with phones on top. But the next thing that happened with this freaking phone, this was one of the first iPhone X's, iPhone 10s. I got this, like the pre-order with Apple Care, so I was one of those people who paid the most for their phone when the iPhone 10 came out, and it lasted me about 3 years, a little over 3 years. So, and I'm going to replace the screen at some point, and it's going to be just fine again. But the next thing that was happening was that it became possessed. It just became possessed. It was like scrolling, auto-scrolling all the way up. What the hell else was it doing? Oh, it was just skipping back and forth among windows in any particular app. I've had demonized phones before, and that was undergoing the worst demonic possession I've ever seen. But the crazy thing was, I think a week ago, I dropped it again, and all the demonic possession stopped. So I dropped the phone, I made the digitizer issue worse, and it stopped the demonic possession. You don't really want to rely on things like violence to get your phone working properly. So it was time for a change. So I bought the phone that I'm recording on now, which is iPhone 11 Pro, and I get this message every time I open it. It says, unable to verify that this iPhone has a genuine display. Woo! So you look that up in settings, and then, sorry, Chelsea Peretti is still on here at season 6, episode 15, 41 seconds in. G-Hive, she's so fine. Oh my God. So, yeah, it says unable to verify this phone has a genuine iPhone display. Okay, great. So that means that I didn't really get it, that seller refurbished means that they're open boxes that are sold en masse after being broken. They're sold in bunches, kind of like how vacuum cleaners and other things like that would be. Display models, maybe. So then they're sold from like the insurance claim for a really low price, and they're bought by a company that then fixes them and resells them with like a 60-day warranty. The other thing was the battery seemed to be running quite a bit hot quite quickly, but I haven't really noticed that. So maybe I'll keep the phone. Yes, again, I know nobody's watching this channel. I'm saying this for no reason at all, just to get myself back on track making videos. But anyway, yeah, it's Midnight Green, 256 gigs. I don't know if I will keep it. I think I probably will. And that's all I got. Maybe if I sell both these phones, I'll have enough for an iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is like, oh my God. I saw one unlocked, 256 gigs for $2,500. What the fuck? But anyway, yeah, I did 42 videos, which is not even rookie numbers. That's not even pre-contemplation. That's just fucking around on YouTube. And I stopped for like a week. I realized I had one day where it just didn't hit me. I just didn't think of it. It was like I'd moved on. And I kind of let that work on me. I was working on this stupid homeowner's house. He threw me off the job yesterday because he's a fucking idiot. I wrote a big nasty letter that I'm going to include inside of an invoice. I'm going to take him to small claims court because he owes me like $857, $867. But it's so nice to have the day off. And COVID vaccines are happening. So I'm going to focus on getting my vaccine, and then I'm going to go back to the gym, and I'm going to get my hair cut again, and I'm going to get back to running. Today is Thursday. I haven't done any runs this week. Saturday or Sunday, I'm supposed to run 8 miles. We'll see how that goes. Last Sunday, I ran 7 miles successfully. That was excellent. And yeah, that's what's going on. What's nice is that the Saturday before I ran 7 miles, I walked 4.5, and I rode my bike for 90 minutes. So what I really need is, I found that I can do this continual hard work, but I've got to keep my cardiovascular system going. Mookie, 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 and no one wants to listen to me. You all want to, mookie, mookie, pookie, poo. What's up, Pookie? What's up, Pookie, pookie, bee? Come here. Oh, baby boy. What's up, Tux? You're such a good boy. You're such a good baby boy. Tuxedo baby. Yeah, he likes the pats on the face. Look at how Mookie's looking at me. Mookie moo. What's up, guys? What's up, my puppies? Mookie pookie 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 poo. Yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on. I need to get back to work. But I also need to be able to build fitness, and I've been contemplating more about doing stand-up, and this is a valve for an air compressor. So I am going to do stand-up. I've been thinking more about it, and I've been writing I've written a couple jokes, and I've written down a bunch of things that I thought were funny, which just sounds like a terrible thing. If anybody says that to you, it's like, hey, can I share with you any of this stuff? Just like duck out, because I don't think it's going to work. It's really not. It's not going to work out. No. I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've watched 3 seasons. I went from 4 through 6. And that shit is so funny. And I don't think I've seen the first 3 seasons, really. But I've seen enough of them. And I was blown away when Andre Braugher was playing a goofy role. Well, he's a very serious man, but it's in this universe of silliness. Because I fucking love Andre Braugher. Just for Frank Pembleton. What a fucking genius. Watching Homicide: Life in the Streets is one of those experiences where I kind of learned what it meant to be an adult. That feeling, the poetry, the romance, the despair, the ambiance, the sadness, the humility, the truth of being an adult. Through watching people like Yaphet Kotto, Kyle Secor, Reed Diamond, and Andre Braugher. The great Andre Braugher. Melissa Leo, holy shit. The guy was Scarsetti, who's amazing. Who the hell else? Richard Belzer. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he said the same thing. That's the extent of my Richard Belzer impersonation right now. But yeah, so it's been beautiful to see, and I love their goofy humor, and Chelsea Peretti is still, she's looking at me like this, like, I can't really do it. My eyes are too squinty. So yeah, I'm at 9 minutes and 35 seconds. I'm logging that time again. It feels weird not doing that. When you do it, it's weird. You get in this state where you just have time. It must be a small part of how a daily late show host feels, or a talk show host feels. Like they have this open time where they just kind of go. And yeah, I'm kind of like that. I kind of feel a little bit like that. And I got to put this thing down because the noise is stupid. If I'm not going to watch this, how can I expect you to watch this? You know what I mean? God, I sold my Evil. There used to be more bike frames hanging up on the wall, right? I had a large size Evil Calling. Fantastic bike. I sold it for like $1,800. The guy must have gotten it by now. Must have. And I sold my Spot a few months ago. And I'm close to selling my Focus. If I can sell the Focus, I get like another $1,200. If I can sell the Focus, I think I can buy another bike frame. I think that would be okay. Because the Spot I sold for like 11 or 12 or something like that. The Evil I sold for 17. And after shipping it, and eBay's cut. So that's close to $3,000. The frame I would buy is like $2,500, but it also takes like 7 weeks to arrive. And I would obviously need to spend a little bit more money. But such is life. What I really need is more work. This is just not happening. But I wonder, maybe I can like read some of these stupid jokes. Display and brightness. And turn it back up. Comedy. Stand-up comedy material. My favorite pivot in a dating conversation. She told me she was tired of the immaturity in relationships and toxicity and drama. So I told her my favorite pickup line. So you want to get married? Say yes or I'll fucking kill myself. Meat counter. Sorry, I was late. I had to go to the meat aisle earlier and got trapped. You can complain about racism, you can complain about sexism, you can complain about anti-Semitism, but nobody's more ignorant than when you're buying raw meat. People just set up camp in there. It's like downtown LA in the meat aisle. It's like, excuse me, I needed one thing. Can I get out of here, please? I like how Netflix categorizes its shows. Like edgy, sexy, post-racial, adventuresome, timeless, raunchy. I dislike people who call women females. Female what? A female barnacle? Get the fuck out of here. I once met this woman. She talked about males. People here, their accent is so annoying. I treat males very differently. All the males I've ever had in my life have been XYZ. Males. MELS. Males? You mean men? We're men. I'm not a male cat. Okay. Comedy, homing pigeon magnets. No, I don't have anything for that. Oh, BBC. They have a site that does reproduces everything in pigeon. It was amazing. It was like people fooled by the rat. Actor post 44. Okay. Yeah. So this is pretty bad. So when I was in high school, I finally got into a play, which was a big deal for me, obviously, because I'm like performing, but not a big deal for everybody else. It was a big deal for me. It was like making the varsity, right? You get in the play. And my school, we did damn good plays. I didn't realize that that's not the same. It's not the same in Pennsylvania as it is here in Texas. In Texas, you can have the most boring ass school, and like the way they do theater is off the charts because it's all competitive. Like that's amazing. You could fit in any belief system as long as you're competing for it in Texas. Like that's incredible. I've seen great theater in schools in Texas. But anyway, so I got in the play. And the play we were doing was The Grapes of Wrath. And I was like 17. It was my junior year. It was the first one I had auditioned for. And we're on stage. And the theater teacher, you would see her and you'd think she was a real theater teacher. Like she had those, the shawls. She just, like everything she wore always sort of flowed. And she was like strangely yellow for a white person. And she had like that really stringy, wiry blonde hair that was really long and it all flowed. And she just had this way about her that was like definitely dramatic. And so weird. She looked like such a theater teacher, but I actually saw her act once. She was not good. It was strange. It was like she was embarrassed. Like, why are you doing this? But she came right up to me when I was on stage and she was like, click, a clock, click. She was like, click, clock, click with her heels. And then she was like, walked right up to me and then looked to the side and went, Colin, actor pose 44 on this block right here. And then walked away. And I was like, there's 44 of them? 44? There's at least got to be 80, right? 80 actor poses? The thought was like, it was one, there's at least 44 of these. I suck. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be an actor. And then the next part was, how could I have not have heard of this? This is really how people act? And then someone who was right there, we were walking to take a break. Someone was right there. He leaned right in. His name was Steve Bailey. This is his name, Steve Bailey. Steve Bailey, who showed us at 17 what it meant to be overqualified. That motherfucker had his pilot's license when he was a teenager. He used to walk into school in the afternoon. He was like, I just did a flyover. Did you see me? I'm like, what are you talking about? He just fly the plane over the school. I was like, why would you be anywhere near the school if you could fly a plane during school hours? Like he had like recommendations to be a fighter pilot from generals. He'd go off and he'd tell us about how many stars the generals had letters of recommendation. Like, oh, I have one recommendation from a two-star general. I have 2 letters of recommendation from a 2-star general. 1 letter from a 3-star general. I don't think he got it. But anyway, so Steve Bailey, he leans in and he goes like this, like, actor pose doesn't mean anything. You don't have to, there's no such thing as like actor pose. You just have to, she's just saying like, she wants you to like, not just stand there. I was like, how disingenuous is that? It's like, what other reaction can you have but then to think, that's as much faith that you have in me? That's as much faith as you have in me? And then on top of that, the thought is, this is how you leave things to be done? You have everybody kind of initiated into this ridiculous little rite where they're all like caught like deer in the headlights. And you just leave it up to other students to tell them that they're full of shit, that this isn't real. Because like, it's going to be like a 2-minute turnaround, right? Someone's going to hear them and they're going to take pity on you. Maybe not because they like you, but out of some sort of self-righteous determination to make this play get off right. Because anybody who's ever been in a play knows that stuff is difficult to make happen well. So it's going to be like a 2-minute turnaround before the person knows that you're so full of shit. Why would you do that? And then on top of that, what would all the other actor poses be that we'd get to 44? I think of like actor pose 78, doggy style. Actor pose 79B, lesbian squatting, dropping her pussy over Tina Higgs. I don't think Tina Higgs is a real person. I'm not sure why I wrote that. You want to know what I'm thinking? Here's the problem. The problem is that when men boil over, or when anyone does, men just boil over more often. So I'll just say men. When men boil over, it's like our words become this ascendant speech a villain makes or a superhero makes before they make that final crushing blow. As if I verbalize it, the actions will follow over, and the axe comes out, and I crush the things in my path, and I don't want to, so I don't say it, or else I'll build a tractor and drive it into a bank, you know? Oh, I'm going to read it again. You want to know what I'm thinking? Here's the problem. problem is that when men boil over, or when anyone does, men just boil over more often. So I'll just say men. When men boil over, it's like our words become this ascendant speech a villain makes or a superhero makes before they make that final blow. And if I verbalize it, the actions will follow over. And the axe comes out, and I just crush the things in my path. And I don't want to. So I don't say it. Or else, if I say it, I'll build a fucking tractor and I'll just drive into a bank, you know? Remember that guy who did that? You want to take apart your entire house and build it into a transformer, and you're inside driving it. I don't know what that means. I walk one dog, have to pee. Dog gets so excited, runs over instinctively, like drinks my pee. Like, you know, a dog drinks like that's a gross moment. That's pretty bad. I've experienced this as well. Ghosting. I've experienced this as well, and it fucking hurts. I've got through so much cultural bullshit and my own idiosyncrasies and judgments. So much cultural nonsense, like people writing in a dating profile, don't ghost me. You're literally less than a stranger right now. I don't even know if you're real. And you think you're going to say something that's going to change what I'm going to do? Okay. Ooh, this is a big one. It starts out like this. You love something. You love music. You love whispery jazz. You love Fritz Lang. You love crossovers. You love Edith Piaf. You love the War of 1812. You love big bore rifles out of Afghanistan. They're called the Jazale. You love crystals on cannabis buds. They're called trichomes. You love corsets with real whalebone. You love acting. You love some aspect of video game design. You love vacuum cleaners because you're autistic. You have Asperger's, so you love the mounds of the Mississippian Indians. You love tattoos. And you go to chase to get close to that, to always be near to that. And that thing ends up driving you in circles. And because you're so wound up and you slow down so much to adjust, you develop entropy. And in your fatigue, you acquire all these things. You acquire a girlfriend, a house, a baby that you don't even need. Second car, second mortgage, rental property, bills, subscriptions, apps. Fucking apps! You acquire credit cards, 30 of them, like Kevin O'Leary. You acquire seat covers, stuffed animals, 16 sets of bed linens. So you get interested in QAnon. Yes! That's not bad. I treat it like chefs do. Now, I don't know shit about cooking, but I do know a chef will tell you, if some people are complaining about how it's too salty, chances are it's got enough salt in it. On the back of this moment, you will see a survey about your experience. If you would just give it a minute to fill out, it would really help me. I was smitten, of course. I don't know what that's about. Why the girl doesn't want to go to her place? Stalking? Maybe. But that's not the primary reason. That's a condition of the reason. She doesn't want to squirt all over her bed sheets. That's a big one. And they will not tell you that, and I have learned this. She doesn't want to squirt over her bed sheets. That's true. You have to do this one night stand thing like many times in order to really get that. Because, man, they can leave your bed a mess. You lady, you can leave our bed a mess. Or your husband, or your bed, whoever. You leave the bed a mess. You leave a bed a mess. No, let's go back. That's too open. You leave the bed a mess. You make messes out of beds. You make messes out of beds, girl. You, and you, and you, and you sometimes. But you think that can only happen by yourself. She doesn't want to squirt all over the sheets. The woman leaves, suddenly I'm like, where am I going to sleep? It's like someone poured a quarter cup of vinegar in the center of my bed. Even the dogs are sniffing it like, the fuck could that have been? I don't think it comes out of his butt, do you? No, it certainly doesn't come out of our butts. No, of course not. But it's not pee. I know pee. I'm a dog, and I know pee. That is not pee. That's some sort of woman jizz or something. I don't know. Yeah. And that's what gets degrading about it. This is what women do. They're conniving. You and you and you and sometimes you, but you think it can only happen alone. She doesn't want to clean up her mess. She wants to use him, like fast food and throw the wrapper away. No Myers-Briggs, that's secular astrology. San Antonio is different from Philly. I was talking to a friend and we got on the subject. What is the worst thing we've ever done while driving? And I said, and he said, man, my buddy had a Mac 11 and I raised my fist in the air and a shell went in my boot. God damn. Meanwhile, I said, shopping on eBay. While beating off. I mean, shut up, whatever. I want to read that again. San Antonio is different from Philly. I was talking to a friend and we got on the subject, what is the worst thing we've ever done while driving? And he said, man, my buddy had a Mac 11 and I raised my fist in the air and a shell went off and it went in my boot. Like, God damn. Meanwhile, I said, shopping on eBay while beating off. Shut up. The geometry of comedy. It is possible to respond to everything that ever happened to you and know yourself. To bifurcate moments, to find the hidden spaces between them and mingle them around, dance them forward unheeded, unbidden, and not know yourself. That's not comedy, that's writing. Oh, this is good. For sons, a father has to do 51% of his job to be considered a god. A god. Mothers, a mother has to do 100% just to get noticed. That's the truth. For a son, a father only has to do 51% to be a god. For his son to just be like, oh, my dad. Well, dad said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing it just like dad. Dad and I. Mothers, a mother has to do 100% just to get noticed. That's a good one. I told this like young lady that we were sitting on the floor next to each other in an airport because it was the only place we could charge our phones. And she's just someone who was like easy to talk to. And she was talking about her brother and I guess all their family was over there or something like that. And I said that to her. I said, look, here's the truth. For a son, for a boy, a father only has to do 51% for his son to think of him as a god. A mom has to do 100% of her job just to get noticed. Just to get noticed. That's the truth. It's the truth, right? It's the truth, right? Oh, he did this, oh, he did that. My dad is a hero. And it's really nice, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? We like this. Is the son, like when a son has that light in him, got that silent pride over his dad, right? Comes from 51%. Comes from 51%. That's all he has to do is fucking 51% to put that fucking light in his son's chest. He'd be like, yeah, I know I can count on my dad. Yeah. But you can always see in their head, they've got that question about their mom. You're like, my dad will do it. And then you see the gears turn and he's like, I don't know about my mom. Meanwhile, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I picture a mom, like if there was a statue of a mom to be erected, she would be like this, holding all the laundry, right? It'd be like she's got a sock up in here, you know? She's like, but the face isn't one of like a majestic George Herman Walker Bush, like, nah. The face is kind of like you just heard a scream, you know? You're like, or it's like someone's being like, Mom! Like, what? That would be the face of a mom. You take this incredible woman, you take a Wonder Woman, right? And you fold her, you bend her over. Well, wait a minute. You fold her over a pile of laundry and make her hold it like this, like fucking Atlas, Like you're watching World's Strongest Man. And it's the freaking Atlas Stone, right? And they're like, that's a mom. That's really a mom. Maybe she has some brat hanging off her leg, you know? She's got vomit on one side of her. That's what a statue of a mom should look like. When there's a medical emergency on an airplane, why do we ask if there's a doctor on board? Because doctors will help. They will actually do it. Well, not all the time. They don't like to do it. We don't give a fuck about cancer. We don't really give a fuck. Cancer is not a solve-all, right? Rudy Giuliani had cancer. Lance Armstrong had cancer. Al-Megrahi, who bombed that fucking plane and went back to Libya, he went back because of cancer. We don't care about cancer. This cancel culture stuff is so crazy piggy. Piggy is probably an autocorrect. This is how crazy cancel culture is. I can tell you a story from, oh yeah, piggy. I can tell you a story from high school, okay? So pointless, but it will send some of you anxiety. You will get anxiety over this. Like, ooh, you know, should I say something? Should I tweet? Should I tweet about this? It happened. You heard it in a club. So, when I was in high school, we had one of those, you know, a public school can only afford, you know, the D-list Spurs. I remember was working as a substitute teacher, and they at Sam Houston a few years ago, and this one over the loudspeaker, the principal comes in. This principal walked like he had, like his hand had grown around a walkie-talkie. He'd do this like a Lego man, no matter what. And he was like, once again, we have real Spurs players in the building starting at 9:00. There will be real Spurs players. Like, you know, nobody knows who they are if you have to say they're real. And I remember seeing some kids from the basketball team later in the day. I was like, so the Spurs were here? He was like, yeah. I was like, so it was like practice squad or something? He was like, yeah. Spurs, you know. But that's all a public school can afford. You can't afford to have really famous people. So they did this package deal program on not smoking that was supposed to, I get that kids make fun of adults, because I still like making fun of adults for the same reasons I made fun of them when I was a kid. So they got this chick who was on Road Rules season 2, maybe? I don't know. Her name was Piggy. She was English. She had that really wiry, like ringlet style hair. And she was like, I got kicked out of the Road Rules for smoking. I was smoking. And they played a clip of it. And I was like, I don't give a shit. What is this? Like, I don't smoke, but you would not convince me not to. And they played the clip, whatever. It was stupid. And she was like, oh, no. And it was like a full school assembly. This chick was insane. And friends of mine start yelling things out like, don't you hate pants? Which just never gets old. But I'm walking through the gym afterward, and she's standing in the middle, and like all these girls are standing around meeting her. And there's one girl in my school, one girl who had that true Barbie doll look. Like, she was like a dirty blonde. She had those big eyes. She had that like baby voice, like, what? She was incredibly tall, and she was like not so tall, but she was terribly skinny. You know, she just had the figure. She had the figure. She wore the clothes. She had the attitude. She was that person. And her name was Kiki. I knew another Kiki, but that was just her goddamn nickname. This chick's name was actually Kiki. Well, good for you. Good for you, sir. Moving on. So I'm walking by, and there's this little like horseshoe shape of girls all talking to this crazy woman. And people are all like, what? And Kiki was one of the girls who like worked on the wrestling team. She was part of the, you know, she took attendance and all that stuff and did other stuff. She did a lot of stuff. It's like, not like she's here. But I found her afterwards because people were like, "Oh my God, Kiki!" Well, blah, 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 blah. And I saw her like a little while after. I'm walking through, and I was like, "What just happened?" And she goes, like in that terribly cute, tremendously stupid way. She was like, "Oh, I asked her a question, and she just looked at me and was like, God, you could use a sandwich." Like, what? What? That's what she had to say? She gives this speech. She actually maybe makes inroads with people, with young people about not smoking. And then this one, she was beautiful. She did have hard water. She had hard water, so her hair was green sometimes. And she would just say it to you in this way that wasn't even deadpan. It was just kind of like dim, like, my parents said we have hard water, so it turns green from the shower. But she was a really nice person. And yeah, she said, like, you need a sandwich. Like, don't you feel the need to say something right now? Someone needs to feels the need to like tweet about it, right? She was some Z-list celebrity. She was famous for 15 minutes, right? Don't you feel the need to say something? That's how crazy it is. People don't like the word cunt. Gives shivers, doesn't it? Cunt. Like, oh. But it just sounds, look, let's all say cunt over and over until it loses its meaning. Cunt, 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 cunt. Is it less painful right now than it was 30 seconds ago? Right? Cunt, 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 cunt. Cunt, 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 cunt. What if the prettiest word in like Egyptian was cunt? Ah, blah, 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 cunt. Oh, he thinks I'm cunt. He thinks I'm so cunt. It's just a sound we make. We make it accidentally. A cunt. Stand up. The amygdala never gets any smaller. This is the last one I'll read because I'm almost at 40 minutes. I don't think I'm precluded from being in a relationship, you know. There's information out that says that after trauma, the part of your brain that makes you like panic, fight or flight, right? It makes you freak out. Like you get mad, fight, or you panic, flight, and then the third one is you freeze. You freeze in place, right? You petrify, right? That's the amygdala. If you don't remember, I don't give a shit. There's a part of the brain that that sends our brain, fills our brain with chemicals when that happens. Like if you're prone to getting angry, like I am, or scared or panicky, like I am, you have higher emotional sensitivity. Some people are fighter pilots, you know, they're very cool customers. Like I remember Chesley B. Sullenberger III, who landed that plane on the water. Remember that? That guy, watch him being interviewed. He's like he's leaning back like Lincoln. The whole, like, I had to alert the radio tower. I had to decide on where to land. And I had to make all these decisions in about 90 seconds. It's like, that's how he behaves. That was the man. Cool operator, right? And then other people are like me, where we're 37 and we have no other prospects, and it just seems like the only thing that we could do, that we could stand to do, is just to put ourselves through this, the combine of shame, called stand-up. But anyway, so there's information out there that says that because of trauma, the amygdala enlarges, it gets bigger, and it never gets any smaller. The hippocampus, the intellectual side of our brain, it can shrink, but you can make it larger over time. But the amygdala gets bigger and it never shrinks down again. The amygdala is the part of our brain that floods you with chemicals that make you want to fight or flight. And I have to think that mine is pretty big. Yeah. But I've got to think, as long as the woman I'm with doesn't want to be a vengeful bitch, I'll be fine. You know? You mean you don't want to be a respectful woman? All right, that one kind of... Okay, I'll read one more. One of the best jokes, not regretting anymore. One of the things I've realized I've regretted the most is when I've been on a date and someone says something insulting at dinner. Oh, I like this. Or something that shows they don't get it or are never going to get it and have no respect for other people. Or when I'm bored. getting up and walking out. Walking out the door. Right there, mid-bite, mid-sentence, mid-thought. You want to be equal? Now you're equal. That's why I started always keeping $40 in my wallet. Just bang. When I write jokes, I get to a word that needs to be emphasized and I put asterisks on either side. If it's all caps, it looks too intense. Oh, and ladies, you don't get to revel in this one. You don't get to enjoy this one. Because if any woman did that in a restaurant and the man expressed dismay, the server would say, well, what did you say to her? No. I mean this as a man. Those are the asterisks. As a man. You know, in many Asian countries, when people type that like, I really mean it, like a lot. They put little swastikas on either side of their sentence or word. And sometimes, I sometimes wish I had that. Not in a Nazi way. This is true. Excuse me. They don't mean it as a Nazi symbol. In fact, a lot of them don't know what the Nazis were at all. Hitler took that basically from Asia. The reason he did that was because there was a theory on the progression of human beings across the West. That at the time, say the Aryans, Aryan is actually a word that comes all the way from India. So he was saying they're descended from the Aryans. They're descended from a superior race. Because there were at times theories that human beings showed up at different parts of the world at different times. So, the theory that we know now to be true is that human beings, we all started in sub-Saharan Africa and we all branched. They branched out. They went to Europe. They went east into what is now Asia. Then they went all the way across down into North America and in South America. That we know that they came from one place now. Where the hell is this? And that's really the truth. So there was this theory that the Aryans were actually a different race of human beings. Sometimes I want that symbol. It's a great symbol. It really does seem to mean I mean it a lot. I think it looks cool. And you know what? It does seem to intimate intensity. Canceling is the blockchain of shame. It's un-American. It doesn't work. It's short-sighted collectivist nonsense. It's the blockchain of shame. And that is all. Oh, wait. I have this one. I can't remember what that was. It just says, I am Nebulon, wife of Anthony Mackie. Oh, yeah. It's like women think that they're just up for any rock and roll star, any politician, any movie star, any very important person. They all think they deserve like a 70-80% cut of like an Anthony Mackie. You don't. Whoever does gets him. Just think about like, you wouldn't like it either. You wouldn't be able to handle it. It takes a certain sort of person to accept that life. I mean, you would end up like this ice queen out of Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. People roll up to your house and be like, hey, it's great to meet you, Anthony, whatever. And then you'd come down the stairs and everyone would just kind of feel you showing up, like your presence down the stairs. And then you would just sort of glide past him and go, I am Nebulon, wife of Anthony Mackie. Because it's such a crazy lifestyle. And that's all I got. And I got a mookie boo, and a tuxedo. What's up, Tux? Hi, buddy. What's up, Mookie? Say goodbye, Mookie. And anyway, non-viewer, thank you for watching. This will probably go out a day after I record it because I'm lazy as fuck. But it's been real. So